What's up, y'all? Ryan here back with another breakdown post game. We're coming off a 113-109 win against the Knicks in overtime. And this was a real test of my love for basketball. And that's very dramatic, but I'm a dramatic person, so I like doing that. But realistically, this game was very ugly. The turnover numbers were nasty from both teams. They had 16 to 13. Honestly, if you didn't look at the box score and just watch the whole game based on vibes and you told me both teams had 20 plus turnovers, I would believe you. There were stretches of basketball that were very nasty. And honestly, I'm very happy that it happened this way. The viewing audience got to look at real tough hard-nosed ball, and that's like positive spin on it, but I'm a positive person, so that's what we're going to do. I really think that this was a necessary challenge for the Lakers. The first time they played them, it was the night of the Luka trade. They had Max Christie, and that proved to be a massive difference in this game because Jalen Brunson was getting everything he wanted, including every foul call he wanted, which officiating, I promise, won't be like a big topic on this channel because if we did that about every NBA game, it would be very difficult to stop talking about it. But as a singular statement, I'll try not to get into it anymore. The refereeing was abhorrent. Not just Lakers perspective, just from like a fan perspective. The inconsistency is unbelievable. And also, yes, from a Laker perspective, it's crazy. But that's besides the point. Brunson with Christie, like I think the perimeter pressure from a starting lineup was the absolute biggest difference we saw. And also, in terms of perimeter defense, the gap between Jared Vanderbilt and Dorian Finney-Smith is quite massive. I'm not gonna lie. DFS, I love him as a connecting piece. Offensively, he is not nearly the player that Rui Hachimura is, which no one ever claimed that he was going to be that. So I don't want to act like I'm surprised or disappointed. He's not. Defensively is where he makes his money, and as a connecting piece, as a rotator, as a guy that's making closeouts, as a guy that's scrapping down low against guys bigger than him for rebounds, wonderful. As a point of attack defender on a guy that has any type of quickness or craft, that's not his game. Honestly, it's not really Vando's game either, but Vando's so much quicker with his feet than DFS that he gets away with a lot. It's really difficult to have DFS as a primary defender on like a championship team. Even though he functionally is for some stretches, he can't. Honestly, I'd rather LeBron start on Brunson, very similar to the way that they did it with Jamal Murray and Jokic, like that. Even that coverage probably won't work through. You definitely have to adjust in a full 7 game series. But LeBron's feet are quicker than 31-year-old Dorian Finney-Smith's, and there's just something about like DFS is physical because he needs to be. LeBron is physical because he can be. And to me, the distinction there is DFS knows he's not quick enough, so he's trying to get every possible bump and throw his guy off his rhythm as possible, so that way he can make up for his lack of foot speed with his he can bump guys off of angles that allow him to keep up. And it's smart. You have to do that. LeBron, I'm gonna stop myself there because I'm not talking about LeBron being a primary defender and Jalen Brunson, especially not a 7 game series. But the reason they do that is because you can switch the screens that they bring up with Cat or Mitchell Robinson. And they were switching, but it was very difficult. DFS is not that guy. That unfortunately is my biggest takeaway from really this whole stretch without Rui. The offense has looked absolutely anemic a lot of times, and almost every time. I'm gonna make a dedicated video about this, by the way. This is more just thoughts post game. The LeBron groups that are like at the end of the first and third quarter, they're not good. The net rating with LeBron only on the court in like the last 4 or 5 games is negative. I'm almost positive. I saw a stat there. I should find it. He, they're giving him groups that Luka should be getting. And it's 10 games in and we've won 8 in a row, so it's definitely nitpicking, but the margin for error despite the two top 5 superstars we have on our team is pretty low just because of the style we're forced to play given our personnel. So you can't go on these scoreless stretches when you're not really getting a bunch of stops, especially because Jordan Goodwin's not here too. It's funny talking about a two-way player, but he's a very big part. Like the scrappiness and the intensity from the perimeter, you can't just like have Dalton connect out there because he's not. He had another solid game today. Definitely not. Just generally, he's not consistent enough offensively to make up for him breaking the chain of connectivity defensively, and that's something that when you don't have the requisite talent on offense, which those lineups don't, it's always Vanderbilt, Jordan Goodwin, and now connect, DFS sometimes, Trey Jemison, who we all love, and I still love him. He had a pretty tough game today, I'm not going to lie. When he's like not able to out physical the backup center, he's very difficult to play on the court. I'm just going to be honest with you. Even that, like, he still has traits, and I think if we keep him and even if we convert him, like, I'd rather have him than Alex Len. Obviously, the team would too, because he's played and Alex Len hasn't played outside of garbage time. But I think from this game, major takeaways. One, perimeter defense from the starting lineup is going to be tough. Slash, Jared Vanderbilt's probably on a minutes restriction because he didn't play the entire fourth quarter, I don't think, and didn't play any overtime, including the we need a stop lineups. So I can almost guarantee I'm recording this immediately after the game. We're gonna hear something from JJ Redick about minutes limit for Vando. That's the very long-winded point number one. Number two, the LeBron lineups. LeBron only lineups. I will say JJ Redick did change this since Reeves came back for the first time. He did change and have Reeves in that end of first quarter lineup with LeBron this game against the Knicks. Reeves was barely a basketball player until he made that shot in the overtime, but that was his first game back in a couple days from a calf strain. I'll give it to him, it is what it is. I think going forward, that has to be what it is. We saw a lot of Luka and AR shots on the bench together. I don't think that could happen anymore. We saw a lineup today of Luka, Trey, my God, Vando. Like, I don't even think Gabe was in there. Like, there was zero creation offensively, and it still worked out fine because Luka could create those shots. LeBron needs Reeves there because so he can continue to play off ball because he's kind of fully shifted. That's very long-winded number two. Number three, they can win dirty games. I don't think I don't think I doubted that. I don't know how other Laker fans felt. Please let me know how you feel in the comments. But this was for as ugly as this game was, this was absolutely necessary to me. You have to be able to win games in a variety of ways, especially as a team that's trying to have this defensive identity. When you look disgusting on offense and you're incredibly upset with the foul calls, again, I promise not to bring it up. The being upset was justified. That's all I'll say. You have to be able to find a way. You're down by 10 every single time you get it within 8 or 6. The Knicks go on a 6-0 run. It just felt like this game was going to be out of reach forever and be one of those really frustrating games. But they kept fighting. They just kept it together enough to where their superstars can make a run. And then Gabe Vincent comes up absolutely massive with 3 threes in the fourth quarter. You just have role players that you trust and that have done it before. Gabe Vincent was a starting guard on a team that went to the NBA Finals like 2 years ago. And obviously the struggles were incredibly frustrating. But again, he was the starting guard on a team that went to the NBA Finals, and he's our 7th man right now. That's depth. Like, you can rely on that. And you just keep yourself in position to be within striking distance and let those guys flourish. And that's just what it did. I apologize, my thoughts were a little all over the place. This is the first time, like, I'm recording literally seconds after the game ended. I hope you guys enjoy. I'll be back with, again, I teased the LeBron lineup video. Like, it's going to be more coherent. I'll have a script. I'll hopefully sound more natural. I appreciate y'all watching. Thanks.